I'm at the top of Carn Brae actually. It's an igneous outcrop. It's a landscape within a landscape. In a distance you can see some Victorian tin slate engine houses and the chimneys, and then you spread across the landscape and you see a more recent example with some outbuildings, and this is referred to as the Cornish Tin Quarter, apparently. The site at Carn Brae, we've read lots of descriptions about this site, but seemingly they seem to point out a 6,000-year-old defended Neolithic hill fort, but they didn't have defended Neolithic hill forts. You know, hill forts really didn't come in until thousands of years later in the Iron Age, so I've discounted that. Everything I've read about this site is wrong. They found 700 flints, and they say this is evidence of a great battle or a great siege, and you start to think, no, it's not. You know, if this site was occupied by groups of people, it definitely wasn't defensive for, you know, from the Neolithic period, right? You know, 700 flints is not a lot of flints. So lots of Neolithic pottery being found here, and Bronze Age evidence as well. What we're going to do is just sort of have a look at some of these rocks and go on a little bit of a brief journey. Very windy up here. As one of my students said, this was probably you know, worst locality you could have for as any kind of settlement. It's very windswept, very isolated, no water, really poor access. So as we're sort of gliding through this really intriguing landscape, and it's the only landscape I've ever been to that there's no signs of any archaeology at all. There's three of the gang.
If there's anything, Carl.
Yeah.
Hidden underneath that block there might be something.
I agree. Under that lot, because it's sheltered, yes, but that's not been excavated.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go say hello, Rosamond.
Hello.
She's a bit vain. Yeah, good. So as we sort of go through these big boulders, you know, I've never, you know, I can have a little bit of a chat now. I've never seen a site that on the surface there's relatively no archaeological evidence. No evidence of rock cut ditches, no piles of stones organised in a regular fashion. This is all geological. This is all piled up. Any evidence found over a long period of time would indicate small numbers of people living here, not large bands of people. This sort of this thing that archaeologists get into their head, that hill forts were occupied by thousands of people, is a complete anathema. It doesn't bear thinking about, because it's wrong. And as we sort of go to the Basset Hunting Lodge, apparently, so you know, this landscape has been altered and changed, and some more modern influences. So that's obviously more historical archaeology. As we start to get into this site, as we wander through humps and bumps, all stone. And so I'm worried when you get descriptions about sites like this that they're completely over exaggerated. Discussions about huts and buildings that have been burnt down, and battles, and a very small number of flints. Actually 700 flints is not many. You know, you could pick up that amount just field walking in a field where there are lots of flints, you know. And what we've got in the distance, this is really interesting from a geological point of view, and a landscape historical point of view, but from an archaeological point of view, it seems to lose its credence and its structure. And as we come over to Jessica, what would you feel about this landscape that I've just been so slagging off over the past few minutes? Come on.
I think there would have been a settlement here, but you know, like what we've read, that some people have said that the 700 flints that was found here was an attack, and that's why things were burnt down. And I don't think we should go straight to war. I think maybe those flints were there for hunting
I can't see anything of Bronze Age either.
No, but I feel like it would be more Bronze
Yeah,
Age.
yeah.
And especially with what they found here as well,
Yeah,
Bronze
yeah.
Age axes. I think they found some Roman coins here as well.
So basically a site that's been used by small groups of people over a long period of time, yeah?
Yes.
Good. Okay, we agree on that as well. So I'm just going to take us, say goodbye for the last time, and we'll just go up here again, more of these great boulders, and as we look into the landscape, obviously one point I made with my students is those standing stones in the field. It don't necessarily mean to say that they're actually Bronze Age. It could actually be part of a field boundary, so be very careful when you see standing stones on a map and it indicates they're in italic. It doesn't necessarily mean to say that they've been placed there in ancient times. Anyway, this is KARL-JAMES Langford, Seek and Search Archaeology Cymru. Wonderful Cornish trip. The weather's been great. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Any comments are really valid. And Sandra, Alan, John, Peter. It's a shame you weren't with us on this trip, and not forgetting Pat. Hopefully you've watched this Pat and you've enjoyed them all. Thank you.